What is going on, friend? Sean Don coming back with a technical analysis. Here we have John Dahlin. He is a 42-year-old Masters thrower, which is it surprised me. I don't know. I looked at this video that he sent, and to be fair, I didn't think he was a Masters thrower. He looks pretty dynamic. So, yeah, gonna rip through this analysis and give him some details to work on and see if he can improve his weight throw a little bit this season, and then also maybe take some of these cues and learn how to four-turn in the hammer throw. He said he eats up a little bit too much space. So if you are looking for your own in-depth technical analysis, you want to up your game, you want to take your throwing to the next level, then go check out my website, gripandrip.co. Gripandrip.co, baby. Let's go. All right. Let's take a watch. I think he looks pretty dynamic. 42 years old. He's not like, I've worked with older Masters throwers, and he still looks like he moves pretty good. A little tight, it happens as you age. But the aggression is there, dude. I love it. Not bad, not bad. So let's start breaking it down. All right, John. So you're starting square at the back of the ring, toe in 2 turns. Start with the ball in between your hips, bring it back. You can see, as I've said this a lot lately, bring the hammer kind of straight back. And then you can see the hands kind of rise up, ball kind of rises up. You can see you start to get the hands out away from the body a little bit. And then as you go through entry, you can see right here, all right, your head and your body's still kind of facing 0. And then as you start to set up entry, you can see that head peak a little bit, that left side start to lead a little bit, that left arm's kind of coming across the body, and the right elbow's kind of down and tight a little bit. But as you go through, you're pretty patient for the most part. You can see your head still peaking. As the ball gets through 0, you're just you're letting the ball catch up a little bit. You're being pretty patient. You can see you're actually kind of pushing the ball out to the left pretty well. There's still some kind of left side lead going on here as the ball goes around 90. But one thing I might consider changing is in this kind of sling start, I would think about trying to turn your head and look in the direction of let's say this chair. So 30, 45 degrees before 0. If you really want to get extreme with it to kind of overcorrect and see how it goes, I'd try to turn your head and look at 270. Might be a little overkill when you're starting square at the back of the ring, but just trying to make sure that you emphasize connecting early and long and wide to this right side of the orbit over here. Overall, it's not bad though. Like I said, it's just this kind of first initial movement off the sling is kind of that left side leading. But that being said, you do set up a pretty stable left side as the ball's going through 0. You can see yourself kind of sinking down and back away from the ball a little bit with the hips. You can see if you look at your shoulders and your hip height, you kind of sink down just a little bit. Not a huge deal. Just something to be aware of. That sinking, that giving to the hammer isn't always the best thing. But as you go around the left, like I said, you let the ball catch up. You're pretty patient. Also, another thing I'd be aware of is this right elbow kind of pulling down and keeping it tight to the body. I'd try to get that right elbow up and out a little bit more, straighten out the arm. Straighten out that right arm a little bit sooner if you can. It's not always perfect, but you just want to make sure that your arms are straight by 0, and it looks like they are. Maybe a little late, but pretty solid. Going around the left, pretty decent single support movement. Right side, you're turning with the ball pretty well. You just see you kind of pop up just a little tiny bit here. Hips come up a little bit, and then right leg is with the ball for the most part. You can maybe get a little bit more knee flexion, hip flexion. So pull that knee up and kind of think about a skip. Pulling this inside of this foot over that left calf a little bit more, where you can see it's just a little low. It's a little lazy. It's not bad though. But this first catch, you catch it plenty early. You're deep into the sector here. All right, almost maybe too early. Ball needs to finish its rotation a little bit more. You do want to make sure that when the ball goes around the left, you feel it stretch towards the right sector, or kind of stretch towards 180, somewhere in this general vicinity. You want to feel the ball grow. You want to feel the ball stretch towards the sector, pulse towards the sector. And with this left side kind of leading just a tiny bit, maybe you don't feel that. But you still end up catching super early, and this is a good thing. It just depends what you do from here. Hips are a little bit back, chest is a little bit forwards. Right leg right shin specifically is a little bit straight up and down. Could be on the ball of the foot a little bit more, or just making sure that you're deeper in the legs, because like I said, there is this little bit of pop up in single support. You see it right here, especially too. That left knee kind of straightens out. So maybe think about dropping that left knee forwards towards 180. I've seen a lot of very common tendencies across these technical analysis later. And that stiff left leg in single support can be an issue for a lot of people, where you see there's really no give forward to the ball. That left knee's too stiff. It's going to kind of push the hips back. You catch, and you see that left knee doesn't really bend until you already go to put that foot down, which just kind of affects connection and direction and all that stuff, and it can make the throw a little bit over rotational. So early double support, not bad. You see that heel comes down right about there, so just before 0. Looks like maybe, yeah, it looks like you kind of clamp down on the ball a little bit here. Arms get a little tight, you kind of push down on the ball a little bit. You see the ball has this weird kind of orbit change. It's very subtle. And then as the ball goes through 0, that left side grounds, that left heel grounds. Left side's leading a little bit. Camera angle's not perfect, but you can see, like I said, it looks kind of low down here, tight to the body here. See that left side kind of pulling up, left shoulder pulling up towards the shoulder. And then as the ball goes through 0, you're getting back against the ball, but you can start to see some tilt in the shoulders. That left shoulder's up, that right shoulder's down, that right elbow's kind of tight, arms tighten up a little bit. But then you do a good job extending the ball out from here. So like I said, it looks like you get a little tight through here, and then you're like, all right, push the hands out away from the body. Get it longer to the left. And in terms of turning with the ball, you're doing a great job here. Both legs turning with the ball. Right side's going with it. Kind of same thing as in the previous turn. That right knee could get a little bit more up, a little more hip flexion, a little more A-skip position. Because you can see here, this is what I'm talking about, that stiff left leg. If that left leg never really gets out of the way, which it doesn't because it's being kind of stiff, you can see it kind of almost straighten out a little bit through the end of, or the early single support. You straighten out a little bit, and then you kind of have to step that right side around, where if you bend that left knee, drop it towards 180, you can kind of step that right side straight forward, straight through. So you're just kind of hurting your connection and direction with this stiff left knee. So that kind of seems to be the biggest thing. So you kind of straighten out a little bit. Looks like maybe you get a little stretch towards the sector. Nice deep catch again, but once again, it looks like you're kind of, really kind of getting too close to that camera view right side of the ring. Your direction is kind of down the right sector a little bit too much. But you catch, you land on that heel again, kind of right shin up and down, and then catch. And then you can see the ball kind of drops here. And like I said, with this position, with that left knee being stiffer up here, hips are kind of back away from it. I think what happens is that left knee straightens out, and it makes it hard to keep the hips connected. Like I said, it kind of pushes it back. So then on this catch, your hips are a little bit back away, your chest is a little bit down. You can see the ball drops again. You see your chest. You're kind of fighting against it. You're strong enough to not get totally pulled forward, but your chest is down a little bit, so your posture is not the best. It's not perfect. And then as the ball goes through 0, now you start to see, I think, like a repercussion of you going down this right sector line in terms of direction, where the body is going to kind of course correct, where like subconsciously you're thinking like, oh, I can feel myself creeping down this right sector line towards this toe board over here. So then we got to shorten things and kind of course correct and pull back and try to get back in this line of 180, that good direction. So you see this left side start to pull back before 0. All right, so just a little bit impatience there, but also it's kind of impatience earlier in the turns as well. And you can see that right side turning with it pretty well. And same sort of thing, your body's kind of pulling back here. And then that left knee is pretty stiff, pretty straight. Look at this. This is kind of what I'm talking about. That left knee opens up, and you can see you're kind of off balance here, which is a good thing, but need to have a little bit forward translation. So that left knee needs to kind of go drop forwards towards 180 to make some room for that right side to get through and keep the hips connected, because this left leg straightening out kind of kills some things. And you see your left knee doesn't bend until about there. His left knee bends. You catch, like I said, you're kind of off balance. You're kind of pulling that left side pretty aggressively into this final turn. You catch, and this is kind of where that eating up the ring kind of happens. If that left knee is really stiff, it just creates a lot of issues. and then you end up catching really heavy on the right. This flag's in the way, but you can see that right leg flat-footed, right foot, right shin is upright, maybe a little bit of a positive shin angle, referring to negative would be shin kind of there, or right foot more underneath, getting that shin a little closer to the ground, where positive would be, kind of almost have a backwards tilt towards the other direction. And this is just a reaction of your body. It feels like it's falling off balance, so you put your foot a little bit wider to find some stability. And even just landing on the heel in general is better for stability. But when you're doing that going into the final turn, it's a sign that you're not 100% connected and you're almost too off balance. And you can see what happens is that left foot comes off the ground. Ball also rises a little bit here. It's getting a little steep on you. And then you see, like I said, same sort of thing. Hips are kind of back away from the ball. Chest is kind of down, and the ball really kind of drops. And you can see it, boom. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. That chest is down, hips are back away from it instead of underneath you, torso upright, chest up. And then since you're strong enough, you're dynamic enough, it's like you can feel the ball pulling you down, which probably feels good, and then you can feel some nice tension, and then you're going to pull up and away and back on it. So you're really kind of shortening everything to, like I said, try to course correct, because up until this point it looks like you're going down the right sector line. So just try to have a little bit more emphasis on going down 180 rather than, what would that be, 140, 45, 130, 130. Yeah, I think something like that. But yeah, just pulling, extending up too soon on the finish, getting real excited, shortening the hammer, shortening the orbit, and you do finish out. As you can see, that left foot kind of comes forwards and then also over to the right side. So you're getting out on the ball very well. It's just you're a little antsy through this finish. And then, yeah, like I said, pretty dynamic. I had no idea you would have been a Masters thrower just by looking at this video. So yeah, pretty solid. Like I said, maybe tweak that entry a little bit. And then that left leg seems to be the big thing. Like I said, especially with Masters throwers, their legs and knees aren't as nimble and stiff as they once were. So maybe try some knees over toes guys exercises to work on that knee mobility and strength. And then outside of that, like you're turning with the ball pretty well, you have the right ideas. You just gotta, like I said, you're going down this right sector line instead of going down 180 a little bit more. And like I said, it's just that left leg kind of kills everything that's going on. It makes it harder to catch early. It makes it harder to keep that direction. And then because of that, you end up pulling this left side and course correcting along the way. So pretty solid though. Let me know if you have any questions, John. When it comes to hammer, like I said, I think that left leg's the issue. And that if you have a softer left leg, it will help your direction and maybe help keep your turns a little bit tighter, and then you won't eat up so much ring. So yeah, if you've watched this 13 to 14 minute long video on weight technique, then I highly suggest you go check out my website, gripandrip.co, and maybe sign up for some online coaching of your own. Yeah, throws programming seems to be the hit right now. In-depth technical analysis also very useful, very affordable. And I've heard a lot of good things from people who've gotten technical analysis videos over the past month, and they're setting PRs and throwing farther and just looking really good. So if you're interested in that, if you want to, like I said, up your game for outdoors, now's the time to sign up. Indoor season's almost over. You got to get at least a good couple months of work in to set some fat PRs this outdoor season. So like I said, now is the time to sign up. So thank you for watching. Until next time, Sean Don signing off.